Hello, everybody. This is Zach Said It Again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and I am honored to be here with Leslie Mabe. She is the choir director of Spiller Elementary School and music teacher, longtime music teacher of Spiller Elementary School since 1999, I believe. Welcome to the podcast, Leslie. It's an honor to have you, and it's an honor to talk to you today.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm looking forward to our chat today.
Well, you and I have known each other a long, long time. Uh,
Yes.
I uh, I remember when you first came to Spiller. Um, you were my sister's music and choir teacher, and the reason I remember that is because you have to tell everybody when they stand on the risers not to lock their knees. And the reason you have to tell them that is because my sister was the one who locked her knees and fainted on us.
Oh.
And that was the first instance you had of that, and that was very scary for us, but thank goodness she was okay. But that's really my first recollection of you is that my sister was the one that fainted when she locked her knees. So,
Yeah, I try to tell them not to do that, but
yeah,
it's happened a handful of times.
right.
And I try to, especially if they start losing all the color in their face. um,
Yeah.
I know that I'll just tell them get off stage if I can catch it.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot going on when you're
Right.
performing,
And you're
and they're
go,
scared.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not dealing with 20 kids, you're dealing with 120 kids. So
Yes. At that
it's
time, I was.
yeah. So it's a lot. So
Yes.
let's back all the way up. Tell me about your history in music and growing up, and then how you got to Spiller, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I grew up in Wise County
Uh huh.
in a little town called Big Stone Gap.
I know big.
It's in the
Uh,
coal fields.
yep. A nice
Um,
nice movie about Big Stone Gap, and Whoopi Goldberg and everything was in it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I always say I'm from Big Stone, now a major motion picture.
Exactly.
uh, yeah, that was very exciting for the town as well. But the author Adriana Trigiani is from Big Stone, and so that's how we got our claim to fame, was through her and the trilogy that she wrote about the town
Did
and
you
the
know her?
characters.
Did you
Pardon?
did you know her?
No, I don't. I don't know her. She was rather older than me,
Okay.
and she had several sisters who were in the choir. But again, they were older than me. Um, but they would have went to school with my brothers, who were
Okay.
5 and 6 years
All
older than
right.
me. Um, and I started singing in church, and I remember third grade. I had a little solo in our little Christmas pageant, and I did not join the choir at school until 8th grade. But I took 2 years of band, but I'm really glad I did that because it taught me how to read music. You can't learn to read music just by singing unless you really, really indulge down into the do re mi fa so theory behind all that, and that's rather difficult because we don't have a button that we can push that the right note comes out as you do on a piano or something like that. So that really taught me a lot about music.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started choir in the 8th grade, and I had an absolutely wonderful choir director. His name was Jim Darty. He's now retired, but he went on to get his doctorate in music from Florida State. Actually, he left my senior year to go do that, and I was absolutely devastated. But I ended up actually working with him again because after he got his doctorate, his first job was at Radford University, where I was at the time. And he has just been a mentor to so many of us. And, with our thick, heavy accents, for him to get the sounds out of us that he did, and taught us, don't sing like you talk. And he was so right. And he was just, I would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for him. So.
And now you are that to many people.
Well, you never know who remembers you, or because at the elementary level, they forget so quickly. Sometimes I'll see my students and I'll go, "Hey, do you remember me?" And they'll go, "No." And then sometimes I'll ask them and they'll go, "Yeah," but I think they're thinking that I won't remember them.
Right.
And but I'll say, "Tell me your name," and they do, and then I start putting it all together somewhere in the recesses of my brain. But yeah, the kids are just, as many of them that have come and gone and come and gone. You just don't forget them. They're just a part, because they're with me sometimes 7 years if they start pre-K.
Right.
At Spiller, they're with me a long time, right. And that leaves an impression on me.
And we'll get back to the timeline in just a minute, but I do want to focus on this because you have been Bella's music teacher for 6 years, and
yes,
and that will be longer than she will be with any music teacher unless she chooses to major in music.
Right.
So, as you may or may not know, my wife is a singer, and was blessed with a wonderful voice. She'll be doing a Tina Turner tribute on June the 25th at Wednesday at noon for Chautauqua. If you have a chance to come hear her, please do.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, she's a wonderful singer, and I always wanted to be a singer and never could carry a tune in a bucket. So I was thrilled when it was pretty early on that we noticed that Bella had picked up her mother's talent. So I was so happy when she wanted to join choir because she had somebody to hone her God-given ability and to teach her how to use the instrument that she's gifted with. Because I'll sing at home all the time, and Bella will be, and she has the sarcasm of her father, and she says to me, "Daddy, the notes you sing you cannot find anywhere on a music sheet." So that's and she's right. But you have been her music teacher since kindergarten, and she's now sadly leaving Spiller Elementary School. I was a Spiller Elementary School student for 8 years. I joined the handicapped preschool class at the age of 2 and graduated in the 4th grade at the age of 10. So I spent 8 years at Spiller. So,
oh, wow.
So I have an affinity for Spiller School as well. So for my daughter to be leaving Spiller and all the time I've spent in that school from where I was in there and then my sister was in there, it is very, very bittersweet. And then you put the ultimate cherry on top by making them sing that horribly sad song from Wicked at graduation and at the spring concert. My daughter was bawling before she started singing it. And then by the end, she was a mess. We were a mess because she was crying, and it was just, I said, when I talked to Leslie, I said, "What have you done to my child?" Because she was so upset, But it's a beautiful song, and we love Wicked. And Belle and I are going to go see Wicked in October when it comes to Charlotte, and we're very thrilled about that.
Oh, it's a wonderful, wonderful show.
Uh, but
It's just very, very exciting.
but how did you arrive on choosing that particular song for this graduation?
Well, I had used it once before. I
Hmm.
can't remember. It was probably about 10 years ago. But what put it in my mind was the movie, had come out
Yes.
this year, and which I
Yes.
have not seen, which I probably need to do that now that I'm off for the summer.
The mo-
I've got a
the
little
mo-
bit more
the mo-
time.
the movie is fantastic. Bella made me watch it, and I thought, because when you have a classic like Wizard of Oz, and I tried to read the book, and I could not get into the book at all, and and she said. My wife and her friend were doing something, so it was Daddy and Bella time, and she said, let's watch Wicked. So I thought, okay, we have time. I'll sit down and watch it. I probably won't like it. I fell in love with it. 2 hours and 40 minutes. I thought a 3 hour movie. I'm going to be so bored. I was not bored at all. Cynthia Erivo has an incredible voice.
Yes, absolutely.
Incredible voice. I've
Yes.
seen her play Aretha Franklin in a series that National Geographic did called Aretha. If you haven't seen that, look it up. Buy it on a streaming service. It is worth it. That lady can sing.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay, I will check that out for sure.
yes. But anyway, you were telling me how you arrived upon it. Um,
At Spiller.
yes.
Well, I graduated from Radford with
Mm-hmm.
my bachelor's in music education. Um, I graduated in the fall, and for a year I stayed in Big Stone and I worked at a museum, the
Mm-hmm.
Southwest Virginia Museum in Big Stone. It's the smallest state park in the state, but it's a beautiful, beautiful Victorian home that's made mostly out of limestone. It has a moat around it. And I got to work with children, and I gave tours and did those kinds of
Is
things.
it wheelchair accessible?
Well, yeah, I believe it is.
Okay, good.
It should be.
Good.
Um, but it's a wonderful, wonderful museum. Um, and I enjoyed my time there. But job opportunity came open. The I don't remember why, but the choir director at George Wythe was leaving, and it was the middle of the year, and the elementary music teacher, Judy Hall, she wanted to go to the high school. So I interviewed, and they offered me the position, and so I moved in January of 1999 up here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, which it was. Whitfield's kind of a hard town to get your toe in with, um, because I'm not a native, but I have formed some wonderful, wonderful relationships
Mm-hmm.
Since then, and I
Mm-hmm.
joined a church and became more involved in everything, and I've been at Spiller ever since.
And you married the man who became the Commonwealth attorney for this area, and is now a judge. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
His Honorable Jerry Mabe, whom I've known since I can remember. Um, but
Yeah.
I know the story of what happened and how you got that job, and I was going to bring this to my attention because you had them singing at the spring concert, I Have But a Small Voice.
Yes.
And that is a beautiful song that we learned as middle school students at Scott Memorial. So we were taught that song by another lady who has a beautiful soprano voice, just like you do.
No,
Um,
thank you.
her name was Melanie Rector. And Melanie left in the middle of the year because she had to move away. I think a family emergency or something. So
Yeah.
Judy Hall, who had been at Spiller for years and years, went to the high school. So as a music teacher, we had Judy at Spiller, and then again at the high school.
Right.
But and then that's when you came to Spiller, and that is now 26 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
and what an impact you've made. But that song, "I But a Small Voice," that must be part of curriculum for a lot of music educators, because that was what Melanie Rector taught us, and I was not in choir. As I said, could not carry a tune in the bucket.
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful song, and I learned it in high school myself, and
Mm-hmm.
I just love the message of what it
Mm-hmm.
says, and
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. It's one of my favorites, and I told the kids that when we started rehearsal. I said this is one of my favorite choral pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and I love the arrangement, and it's just a lovely little piece.
It is, and you had, even though I am partial, you had a very talented group of fifth grade. I mean, very musically inclined fifth grade students this year. Did you not?
Yes, they were very, very hardworking,
And
and I enjoyed them thoroughly.
and
I realized pretty early on that I could do more with them than I have with some other groups in the past. They just were very eager, and they learned very quickly. And trying to sing in harmony at this age is kind of difficult. But they took on the challenge, and they really, really worked very hard.
well, and I know you're not supposed to single out children. It's supposed to be a collective thing, but I figure this is my show. I can do what I want. So, so can you tell me uh, about Bella and the strengths and things that she has and things that she might work on in the future? First of all, let me ask you: can you classify her? Is she a soprano, an alto, or anything like that?
Well, to be honest with you, all children are sopranos.
Oh, is that
Um,
right? Okay.
yes, yes,
E-
all boys and girls are
Even
all sopranos, and
even the
that does not change until naturally when the boys'
right 13,
voices begin to change,
13
and
4.
then oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. The 13, 14, 15 year old. And
Yes, yes, and I tell them about that, and but the girl's voice just matures.
mm-hmm.
And for the boys, when they start to get their Adam's apple, is when it affects your vocal cords. And but the girls, honestly, I've in my humble opinion, um, the teenagers who sing alto, it's not that they can't do the high notes. You have to have a pretty good ear to sing alto because you never have the melody. You're always singing harmony.
Mm-hmm.
And but as you mature, of course, there's those famous mezzo sopranos, and it has to do with your tone about whether you're a mezzo or a lyric soprano or a dramatic soprano. It just depends. And these are all classical terms
Mm-hmm.
because I was classically trained, so that's what I know. But
Fantastic.
yeah, but honestly, they all can. They all are sopranos, and a boy can stay a soprano up until, well, I have a friend whose voice didn't change until ninth grade, and he went from singing soprano to singing bass too, pretty quickly.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
You would think if somebody would stay a soprano that long that they'd evolve into a tenor, but whoa,
yeah,
boy when it changed, didn't it?
yes,
Woo.
yes. And I usually have a fifth grader whose voice will change, which is very interesting to me because I always tell the boys, one of you your voice is going to begin to change before you leave here. And it always happens. And I'm always interested to see who it's going to be.
Right. So, have you heard enough from Bella to know if she has any kind of talent in a certain area, or is there something? Is there a strength that she has in any
Well,
area?
I did not. Um, she never auditioned for a solo.
Right.
That and so I really don't try to push them to sing alone unless
Ab-
they really want to.
absolutely.
Yeah, but a choir is meant to be as a whole unit.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I always say it's not me, but we.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very attentive, and she listened. And bless her heart, I moved her seat back and forth. I just kept moving her around.
Mm-hmm.
But she was so flexible and so kind, and she had the songs memorized very early on, and was just always at rehearsal. That was another thing. I try to push them into coming to rehearsal, and there's only so many that I allow them to miss because we do so much so quickly and once a
Mm-hmm.
week. But she was always there, and she was attentive, and she was just the model choir student.
Well, that's one thing. When Bella said she wanted to join, we were thrilled that she wanted to join, and we said, "Just remember, we did not force you. But if you join, you are not quitting." Because she had friends. She had friends who quit, or she had friends who missed more than 3 and were expunged from the program. But we said that's not going to be you. Now she is sick a lot because her little old immune system just catches everything going and coming. So when she was sick, I would message you and say she's sick. She has this. She's not going to be here,
Right.
and that's the only time she missed because yes, and it is an extra hour after school, so that it was extra, but I'm so glad she had the training, and I really really enjoyed the programs. Like I said, the songs were really beautiful. The I should have pulled the article up in front of me, but you did Mame, Need a Little Christmas from Mame, and
Yes.
Mame is one of my favorite musicals. I'm not of the popular opinion, the Angela Lansbury musical. I prefer the movie with my favorite lady, Miss Lucille Ball, um, who was not a singer, but I thought did a great job in that movie.
Yeah.
And that B. Arthur played Vera Charles in both the Broadway play and the musical, and she is another one of my favorites. So,
Oh, me too. Me too. I'm a golden girl.
oh gosh, which one are you?
Um, well, my friends say that I'm a lot like B. Arthur because I say what I mean, and I
Yep.
mean what I say.
I would
And
I would guess Dorothy. I would have guessed Dorothy. Yeah, just
yeah,
well, you're just very sharp. You're just very sharp, and Dorothy could sing. So there you are.
absolutely.
Dorothy could
Yeah.
sing. And we always say that even as a straight male, I say as a straight male, I'm the biggest Golden Girls fan there is. But I objectively have taken the quizzes or whatever, and I always get Sophia. So
Well, I love her too.
Sophia is my favorite because there's just no filter; it just rolls right out, and
Yes.
that's
And I'm a lot like that too,
that's
unfortunately.
me. That's me. And I think maybe that's why you and Bella got along so well. Y'all were just kindred spirits.